Hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk, a digital talk show for women. I am Cynthia Trejo, Chief Encouragement Officer with Her Element Network, and we are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. We're actually kicking off the series with Women of Alpha, which is the Association of Latino Professionals for America. We have two ladies joining us today, Isabel Briones and Amy Olivas. Both are past presidents for Alpha. Amy, can you share what Alpha is?
Yes. So ALPHA is the Association of Latino Professionals for America. It is a nationwide sort of program that is available to many different Latinos in many different cities. We're lucky to have a chapter here in El Paso, and it's really aimed at empowering Latino leaders at multiple levels in their career. So it's a fantastic chapter that we have here in El Paso, and we hope we get to have more people join this amazing chapter.
Definitely. So we have, I think, 44,000 members, and how many chapters in the US? Do you know how many chapters we have?
Around 20 or 30. I would have to double check, but there's quite a few, many large cities like Boston, Seattle, Philadelphia. They're everywhere.
Right. And we call it the Alpha Familia, which is awesome because you can basically connect with an Alpha family member anywhere in the US. And so this topic for the Hispanic Heritage Month is Yo Soy Latina. And that would be great to start with the Women of Alpha from the El Paso chapter and start with our two past presidents. So Isabel is the one that actually restarted Alpha in El Paso. And then Amy just recently completed her term. So I wanted to ask you all a couple of questions regarding Alpha. Isabel, what brought you to, how did you decide to bring Alpha back to El Paso?
Sure, thanks, Cynthia. And thanks for having us today. I decided to bring Alpha back to El Paso when I was actually living in the DC area. I was introduced to Alpha there as a younger professional, and essentially, upon arriving in DC as a Latina, it became known to me that I was now the minority instead of living in El Paso where Hispanics are part of the majority, and that felt a bit of a culture shock. And when I arrived at work, some Hispanic professionals approached me and they let me know about Alpha, and I just was really intrigued. I was welcomed with open arms. They were just, as you mentioned, became my Alpha Familia really soon, and helped me through navigating through parts of my career, parts of learning how to grow as a professional, and just above all, just helping me develop leadership skills. And so I just wanted to bring that to El Paso. I knew that there was a chapter there before, and where Miss Denise Macias, she had created it, but there was no longer an active chapter when I started to think about bringing it back. And because of the positive experience that I had with Alpha, I decided that I made a commitment to revitalize the chapter in El Paso so that El Paso professionals of all ages and all stages of their career could experience what I had, that really positive growth and connectivity to a nationwide network of people just like you trying their best. And so that's why I brought it. I can go on and on, but essentially I remember it, and I can take it back to that one day. It was at the New York Alpha National Conference where I just thought, I have to do this. So here we are, we're 4 years later, and I'm really glad that we can do this. And as you mentioned, for Women of Alpha, for Latinas, and for it's also for Latinas and Latinos. And so, but I'm so glad that we brought it back here.
Yes, I'm so glad that you did come across these individuals, and I'm so glad that you did decide to revitalize it here in El Paso. So we've had the chapter active, I think, 4 years, going on 4 years, right? And it's been great. And Amy, so you also joined Alpha and then joined us as our president. So what also made you decide to come on board with Alpha?
I wanted to make sure that I gave back to my community. And after graduating with my master's and starting my job with the city of El Paso, I felt like I could do a lot more. And I was grateful that while I was participating in a women in business conference committee, that's where I met Cynthia. That's where I met you, Cynthia. And it was great because you talked so passionately about Alpha El Paso and about the great resources that are available to Latinos nationwide that are part of the Al Familia. And it's really, I think ever since then, I would have to thank you, Cynthia, for letting me letting me know about that experience. And so I joined, and I was able to bring in quite a few people to some of our events. I coordinated the events. It was great being under Isabel's leadership and Natalia's leadership when they were the executive leadership team. So it was really great to be able to be invited, and especially invited to a sort of professional chapter that I can relate with, just being a Latina.
Yes, yes. Which is our topic today, right? Yo soy Latina. And specifically that because, as women we face a lot of challenges, but as being Latinas, there's additional challenges that we face. And part of that is our culture, right? Part of that is the way we're raised and stuff. And not it's not anything negative about it, but it's just things that we work through sometimes. And that's what I wanted to do today is have a conversation of some of the challenges, the experience, the triumphs of things that you all have experienced as Latinas, And Amy, you've shared with us, in a previous conversation of some of the things that you overcame, which I thought, it'd be great for you to share that, especially when you started, school as a young child. If you want to share a little bit of that.
Sure. Yes. So I was born in Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, and I came to the U.S. with my family when I was around 7 years old. So I had just finished second grade, and we moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and so I started third grade in the U.S. And I think one of the biggest shockers, really one of the toughest things I still want to say that has been one of the toughest things I have ever dealt with was moving to the US, having no knowledge of any English, of the English language, and just kind of being forced to learn it that first year. That in third grade, my teacher only spoke English. She spoke no Spanish whatsoever. She was a white older woman, and so she really did not know any Spanish. So I had to rely on my classmates to be able to help me translate at first. And so after that kind of rough start in my first year in the US, after that year, I was able to speak English a lot more fluently. Once I started the fourth grade, I was actually reading at a sixth grade level, which to me was the coolest thing ever. And really kind of overcoming that challenge and being able to have that shape who I am today was really impactful, really powerful for me. And I'm just glad I was able to experience it as a Latina coming into the US like that.
That's really interesting that as a young child you're talking you're in the third grade. So what age is that? Maybe 9 years old, right? 8 years old, that you were able to make the decision at 8 years old that you were going to learn the English language and you were going to excel because you were able to be in the sixth grade level in no time. That determination, that internal drive that was within you as a young child. I'm sure it's still with you today, and how it's molded you and shaped you into the person that you are today. That's awesome. And I'm sure a lot of that also has to do with your mom, right? With your upbringing and your mom helping you and guiding you and pushing you to do your best, right?
Right. My mom has been my biggest role model since I was little. Just coming here, and I remember remember she would always walk us to school and make sure we got to school safely. Or even in Mexico, just going to first and second grade, our elementary school, during lunchtime, we didn't really have a cafeteria. It was a kind of an open space, so we didn't really have a cafeteria. So there was just like a little puestecito where we could get snacks. So during lunchtime, my mom would always stop, like line up with all the other parents in the little what is it called, the big doors, kind of entering the school. She would line up and she would be among all the parents, bringing me my burrito for lunch. So that's something that I always appreciate as well. And she continues to be an amazing mom. Even after my dad passed away, she has become like my father figure as well. And I feel like that kind of comes from the Latino kind of culture, is just kind of striving to kind of be better, to be there for one another, to be a family, not let each other down. And I appreciate that so much from my mom.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Beautiful, beautiful memories and beautiful story there. Uh, Isabel, you've also experienced some things, and one of the things that you shared with us is, uh, the decision to go to school uh, as a single parent, and some of the challenges that you experienced with some people that were close to you, and how that was, they were trying to discourage you from going to school. Can you share a little bit of how that, what happened there with your experience in the past?
Sure. So when I should take it back a little. I was born and raised here in El Paso, and I lived with my mom and my grandparents, and so they raised me. And my grandma always instilled in me to go to school. She told me, you don't want to suffer like I did. Get an education. And my mom too. She would encourage me. And my mom was a single mom, and so that just stuck with me. And so when I had my daughter, I started to, well, I went to school, and I was starting to hear people, like other relatives outside my immediate family, that would say, why are you at school with an infant? Why are you sending her to daycare? And then other naysayers, if you will, acquaintances, just people that would just, you give me 2 cents on why I shouldn't be doing that, shouldn't be focusing on that. Well, I did what I thought was best. I stuck to my instincts, and I thought about what my grandma said, and how my beliefs said I really needed to do this, to do this for my daughter. And so I did. I finished school, and I can just remember as if it was yesterday. My little one, she had put my cap and gown on during my right before my graduation day, and she made me smile, and I just thought, wow, that's gonna be her one day too. And sure enough, fast forward right now to present day, she's on her way. She's at college right now, and off to college, and so I'm really proud of her. And she did tell me recently that I set an example for her, and that helped make her decision to follow her dreams. So I'm now glad that I didn't listen to naysayers. I didn't let anybody bring me down, and I continued with my goals, and the inspiration from my grandma and mom.
Yeah, that's awesome. Having the support of your mom, and then your grandmother encouraging you also at a young age, and the things that she went through. So, them showing you and being the example and being the support system there was really important. But also the fact that you were able to, at a young age, be able to know that this was important. It was important that you continue to go to school, and you were gonna make a difference for you and your daughter and your family. Uh, a lot of times what happens in our culture is, you know as women, we are, how can I say this, we are told that we need to be at home with our children, and that's important. I'm not saying it's not important, but sometimes we have to sacrifice a little bit to be able to get ahead, to be able to help our families. And so you were at that age able to determine that this was important, and because of that, now you're in a good place, right? You and your daughter, you mentioned your daughter is where's she going to school?
UT Austin.
Uh-huh. UT Austin. So that's good for her. She's a freshman, right? She's going to be a freshman this year. That's awesome. Very, very cool. Um, it's neat how, the things that our parents have gone through and had to go through these challenges in their lives to be able to help us in our lives. And now us as parents, we're now helping and guiding our children. Um, what other stories can you share as far as things that you've overcome as Latina? So, we as women, we have things that we have to overcome, but sometimes I think because the fact that we're Latina or Hispanic, there's other things in addition to that. Isabel, you had mentioned that you were in a meeting and they thought that you were there to take notes.
Yes, yes, I did. That was my first experience with the culture shock that I had not felt when I lived in El Paso. And this meeting took place pretty much as soon as I arrived in Washington D.C. at one of my first jobs there, and I was already a CPA already with my Master of Accountancy degree. I was qualified for the position that I had, and there was a meeting that had leaders from the organization there, and well, I was invited to the meeting to partake in the discussion, and I sat myself down, and then someone just walked in and basically asked if I was going to be taking notes, and I said, well, I knew that it was meant to be how do you say it? Not just take notes for myself, but that they didn't think I had that position that I had basically. And so I just took a step back. I normally don't. I'm not quick to just start talking. I took a step back in my mind and just took a deep breath and just decided to take the higher road and not really engage with that. What I felt was a discriminatory comment.
Right.
And what happened was I decided to really do my best to almost over participate in the meeting and give all my ideas. And I did have some, actually my boss say, that's pretty good feedback there, Isabel. And I just thought to myself, okay, this is good, because I really did want to, at least with taking the higher road, make it known that, I was there, I was qualified, and I had important information to share as well.
Right.
So that's one of the difficult situations that you mentioned to share difficult. That's one of the first and shocking ones.
Yeah, being in El Paso, we don't really experience a lot of that. You experience that outside of El Paso. I've had my own experiences as well, but you had a seat at the table, and that's
Yes.
that's a lot of what we talk about is for women is have your seat at the table, and when you came to sit at the table, there was a question mark behind that, but you were able to overcome that. You were able to overcome it through your professionalism and showing that you had the knowledge and the experience, and of course your confidence, right? To be able to overcome a situation like that, you have to be confident in yourself, in your abilities, and it has nothing to do with whether you're Latina or anything. It's just that question mark comes up, you're prepared for it, and you seem like you were prepared for it in the way you handled it, which is awesome, and the fact that you were very active and participating in the meeting. And that's a really good example there, to help other women, when they're in a situation like this where, they may be questioned about whether or not they should be at the table. Yes, yes, you should be at the table. You have a right to be there and be confident and push through that. So thank you for sharing that, Isabella. What about you, Amy? Have you had any experiences that you've had to overcome as an adult? I know you had these experiences as a child, and you took it head on, and I'm just amazed at how an 8-year-old child can just go head on with, excuse me, go head on with that and do what you did. That's awesome. And so that obviously that's shaped and molded you, but now as an adult, how has that, with your experience as a child, how has that, how are you now as an adult, and how you go through those type of situations?
Sure. So I think just the big part also is being a first generation college graduate and a first generation graduate school graduate as well. I mean, really getting my job here in El Paso, that has all really taken a lot of courage for me as well. I mean, I know what a lot of my peers, they were able to rely on their parents or maybe on older siblings to assist them with homework or any kinds of questions that would arise, regarding a school. And to me, I really didn't have that. I kind of had to find that all on my own. So it was also a big challenge. But I mean, I knew if I could overcome that huge challenge at 8 years old, I can definitely overcome this challenge of graduating college as one of the first in my immediate family. And also, I mean, just taking a lot of things head on in my professional career as well. I mean, being the president of Alpha, I was just a member probably for maybe like 4 or 5 months, and then I guess I was doing something right, and I got asked to see if I would be interested in taking that position. So that really meant a lot. So thank you, Isabel, for trusting in me, and and I mean, just that took a lot. That took, I think, a lot of mental preparation too, because it's something that I had not done before ever. So it was great. And I mean, at the end of the day, I knew that, I mean, yo soy Latina, so I knew that it's something that I could overcome, especially with my background, with what I've overcome through the past years, ever since I was 8, and maybe even before.
Yeah, definitely. So, we actually have a poem here that I would like us to read. But before we do that, I just wanted to ask you all, and I'm gonna kind of throw a curveball here because we did talk about this previously. But what words of inspiration do you all want to leave other Latinas with? Is there anything you want to share as far as words of inspiration, how you can encourage, one of the things with her element, inspire, empower, and support women to realize their full potential? And so, are there any last words of inspiration that you would like to leave for other women, other Latinas that may be facing challenges at this time?
I would I would like to encourage other Latinas to really believe in themselves, to know that their worth, they're beautiful inside and out, and just know that no matter what anybody says, even if it's somebody close to you, somebody that you might trust or something, if it contradicts what you know, which is to believe in yourself, then you know what to do. You know that you need to move forward as your true self, and just have confidence. And I wish someone had told me that years ago. And on that note, I would encourage Latinas to seek a mentor, because that really helped me. I want to just make an aside note that Frances Garcia was my mentor in Washington D.C., and she just helped me through so much. Even to this day, over a decade later, we're still in touch, and she still helps me, and it's just amazing. And so I would encourage Latinas to do that, to believe in themselves, and then seek a mentor so they can help, because everybody needs support. So I think that that's important. That's what I would say as my 2 cents.
Very, very cool. Very good. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. What about you, Amy? Is there any last words you want to say that give an inspiration to other Latinas?
Yes. So goes along the lines with what Isabel said. So for me, I feel like us as Latinas, it's kind of sometimes in our genes to be like a little bit more like humble, because there's certain jobs or there's certain opportunities that in our minds we think, oh, we're not capable of that, or oh no, they're requesting too much experience. But we shouldn't think like that. I think we should think of way ahead of that. Even just us as women, I feel like men don't kind of think that way. Like they're just like, oh, I'm just gonna go for it. And a lot of the times they get these higher positions because they just go for it. They don't double guess it. They don't like, step back and kind of like overthink things. And I feel like for us, it's good to think about things, but it's also good to just say, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. Even if maybe I don't feel like I qualify, I think it's so important to just take a leap of faith. If you're really interested in like a job position, and you feel like, hey, maybe I might not be seen if I just apply directly. Maybe I can send an email to like the hiring director, like the director of the department. So do little things that can also get you noticed. Definitely that. And I know, like for me, what I see a lot for many of my female colleagues, it's like, oh, like I don't know, I want to apply for this, but I don't know, I need more experience. And I'm like, no, do not think like that. You go, you apply for it, you make your case because you are worth it. You're beautiful, you're smart, you can really get this done if you work, if you put some effort into it. So it goes along the lines with what Isabel said. So don't second guess yourself. Just do it. Don't think about it. Just do it. If you really want it, just do it.
Just do it. Awesome. That's very good. Very, very good. Very good information, ladies. And thank you for sharing those words of wisdom. I was sharing with someone earlier that when it comes there's a difference between how we're wired. Women are wired very different than men. But when a man makes a mistake, they tend to externalize it and they look at, okay, what could have gone wrong? Where did things go wrong? So they can take a look and see how they can correct. But when a woman does things wrong, we internalize it and we think it was us. We think, okay, what did I do wrong? Or how did I mess up? And that's just the way we're wired. But if you're confident in yourself and you know that you have the skills and you know that you have the abilities, then we can overcome these things. We can overcome these setbacks. We can overcome these negative thoughts and mindsets. Like Isabel said, just go for it. Just go for it. And yes, there's times where we will mess up, but you just go for it, and have that confidence. And like Liz, I mean, I'm sorry, Isabel said, kind of like go with your gut feeling, go with what you know you believe, and believe in yourself. So very good words of inspiration. Thank you all for sharing that. And now we have the poem. It's called "I Am Yo Soy Latina." It was written by someone. I don't have the information, so it's unknown. But it is called "I Am Yo Soy Latina." So I'm going to start, and then the ladies will follow along with that as well. I am the rhythm of the merengue, salsa, bachata, bomba, mambo, beat heart, beat heard deep down in the bosom of the hermoso Caribe. I am Cecilia Cruz, La Lupe, Gloria Estefan, y Selena. I am the ripe plátanos in your flavorful mofongo dish and the sofrito in your arroz con gandules. I am rich ingredients in your abuelita's sancocho. I am the café con leche and the chocolate in your savory dessert. I am, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I Latina. I am the sway in your hips, the thickness of your thighs, the fullness of your plump lips, the beauty in your exotic aura. I am the spiral in your unmanageable mane of luscious coiled curls and unruly waist length locks. I am the la negra rosa or the marron colored spices of cinnamon and sugar.
I am Yo Soy Latina. My undeniable love, fiery passion, steadfast strength. I am roll your R's, the que to your what? I am the beloved Guadalupe, the heart of the Santeria, and the faithful believer in the blessed Son born of the Virgencita Maria. I am hermana, mija, madre, mami, tía, hija, abuela, amiga, chica. I am Cortanza, López, Rodríguez, Parrilla, Méndez, Ortega, Valdez, y Marrero. I am puertorriqueña, dominicana, cubana, colombiana, mexicana, Panamanian, Spaniard, Venezuelan, Peruvian, Honduran, Costa Rican, Argentinian, Bolivian, Chilean, Guatemalan, Nicaraguan, Uruguayan, Salvadorian, Paraguayan. I am Yo Soy Latina.
Awesome. Thank you. So yes, we come in all shapes and colors and backgrounds, and we share one important thing in common, our love for our cultura. So whether your roots are Mexican, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Central, or South America, whether you're first or second or even third generation, your Latinidad shines through. Thank you all for joining us today. And we look forward to having you all join us for this series of Women of Alpha. We have a few other ladies that we'd like to feature and share and then also other women that will be coming on board to share about their stories, triumphs, challenges for the month of Hispanic Heritage Month. Thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you all soon.